Now here's some news you can use. In this video, I'm going to cover 4 tips in 10 minutes that will save you tens of thousands of dollars and frustration, aggravation, and anxiety when selling your home in today's market. Are you ready? If you or someone you know is thinking about selling your home in today's market, it is so important that you are up to date with the trends and the expectations of the buyer. Think of it this way. When you are a seller, put on your buyer's hat. So if you see an issue, a possible objection, I can almost guarantee you they will. And every objection they see translates as a discount on your home. And if it's been a while since you've sold a home, you might be a little rusty. Well, in the description, I'll have a resource for you, some tips on what it would take to sell your home in today's market. And if this is your first time to this channel, subscribe, share, and give us a thumbs up. Number 1, as is. Technically, in the state of Texas, all of our homes are sold as is until the buyer puts a provision within the contract that allows them to terminate for a number of reasons. So this is one of the areas I want to help you avoid. So once you're under contract, you can move on to your next place. But first, we got to get under contract and get your home in condition to where somebody will actually want to purchase it. And I know what you're thinking, Tracy, there's a supply and demand. There are fewer homes available. And you're hoping that that means buyers would just accept your home with any condition. Now that buyer has to calculate your price of your home, plus their closing costs, and plus whatever abandoned do-it-yourself project that's going on. We do see issues starting from the driveway, from the front door, throughout the home, including the backyard. In the home, there were clearly a lack of measuring tapes that were used or leveling equipment used to do some of these projects. So when we saw as is, we thought as if somebody wanted to pay retail for those projects. And sometimes those projects that you started, now the buyer has to pay someone else to come out to fix what you have done, because there's a reason why you didn't finish that project, and no one wants to inherit, honestly, whatever mess you've created. Remember, all homes are technically sold as is, but if your buyer has purchased an option period, they've purchased the right to terminate. And trust me, if they love your home, they go under inspections, and if those items seem to outprice their budget, they're going to find a reason to terminate. Now, let's take a pause for our station identification. Hi, I'm Tracy Sorrell with the DFW Life, and I help people just like you sell and buy homes in and around our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And I realize you can find out quite a bit online: bedrooms, baths, square feet, price. But what you may not be able to discover is how people really live their lives in our different communities, cities, and suburbs. Well, that's where I come in. I hop in the car and I drive around so you can have the bird's eye view, VIP access of how people really live their lives. And if you like to be in the know, then you're going to want to subscribe below, press the bell. You'll be notified anytime anything goes down around town. And don't forget, give us a thumbs up. Now, back to the video. So this brings us to number 2, and that's pricing your home right from the beginning. And if you're not up to speed of what pricing your home looks like, let's say you haven't sold a home in a while, and you're thinking, hey, you know what, call an agent, stick a sign in the yard, we're under contract, and we move on to the next place. Well, there are a lot of steps in between, especially the way our market has turned and changed. Buyers are not as excited about overpaying for your home. I know you have the best home in the entire county, so you should be able to demand your price, and buyers ought to feel grateful that you're allowing them to overpay for your home, right? But when you overprice the home, you're risking not having that home sell at all. So at that point, it doesn't matter what it's priced at. It's going to just sit until now that hot home that you have appears stale on the market. So let's all agree that experimental pricing, where you want a little wiggle room to negotiate, let's try to avoid that as much as possible, because if you have the location, the condition, and the price right, the buyers will naturally protect that price. So if you want a little wiggle room, okay, make sure it's a wiggle, not a full-blown seismic shift. That's where you're going to run into problems. Here are the top issues that sellers find most challenging in today's market. And no surprise, setting the right price is coming in at 58% of the challenges. And setting the right price is understanding the market demand. And to me, that seems to go hand in hand when you're looking at the price of the home and the market conditions and standard, because that's going to be your showstopper. If you don't have those items right, then do not start boxing for your next place. Number 3, skipping repairs. Now, I'm sure you would never knowingly skip repairs. Maybe some things kind of sneak in and you didn't even realize there was an issue until the inspection was done and you got the report, and now your buyer is trying to negotiate these repairs. It is always better to just repair it, just as if you were buying a home, which if you're selling your home, you got to live somewhere, so you're going to buy a home at some point. You want major items to work. So I don't know if I'm a big proponent of doing a pre-inspection, because those inspections are only as good as the day and that moment that the home was inspected. I mean, think about it. You got a pre-inspection and everything was working just fine. Where there's nothing to say that, 6 days later, something started happening with your HVAC system or with the plumbing or with the electrical. So it's really good information to know. So if there are repairs that need to be done, you can go ahead and get ahead of the game. But the truth of it is, some things can still show up on your buyer's inspection. So if you have major items that you've neglected, give them some love and go ahead and repair them, and in some cases, replace them. You don't climb on the roof very often to know that maybe there's some missing shingles. When was the last time you've gone in your attic to see if there's adequate insulation? So there are a number of things that you just may miss because you don't crawl around your home. And I know what you're thinking, Tracy, I'll just throw a home warranty out there. One of those protection plans that they can get. So, if they have a problem with the water heater, just, call the warranty company. I'm out. I've sold my home. I don't want to hear from the buyer again. Well, that's all fine and good, but it's going to be voided if on that inspection report, it already shows that the water heater was not heating properly. So that warranty, home warranty that you purchased for the buyer in lieu of repairs is not going to cover a pre-existing issue. So rather than deal with the headaches and push back later, if you get a repair amendment and it's reasonable, just repair it, move on to your next place. And that's a perfect segue to number 4, and that's refusing to negotiate. Listen, once your home is for sale, then be prepared to negotiate. Even the most perfect of homes, even new construction, there's a negotiation that goes along, because there's no such thing as perfect. Now, hopefully your buyer is reasonable, but let's say you do need to do some negotiating. Just remember, you're offering at this point a commodity. You're offering a house, so start shifting your mind from thinking of it as your home. This is a product that you are offering, and you want that product to move off the shelf, sold. Try to be flexible enough, at least open to considering negotiating. And most of you, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, most of you are very reasonable and you are prepared and cooperative as long as the requests are reasonable. But mainly we want to focus on the big picture. Do you want your home to sell or for sale? Because it can hang out for a very long time, and the more days on the market, the less attractive it is, because it's not the hot new thing anymore. And for you to be mentally and sometimes emotionally prepared to make the changes, make the improvements, and negotiate your deal. Because here's the thing. Although we have supply and demand issues, is that you got competition, even though you may not realize it. And I know you may have a multi-million-dollar home. You're like, if they can't afford it, they're not my buyer. That's true. But even our uber wealthy people don't necessarily want to buy your abandoned project, because they have an option to buy another multi-million-dollar home that doesn't need that level of attention. And no matter the price point of a buyer, Every buyer deserves to live in a nice home. Hi, I'm Tracy Sorrell, the DFW Life, and I help people just like you sell their homes in and around a Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. Not only does individual market matter, but individual communities within an individual market matters. So be really, really careful that you don't have an agent who's like, okay, let's do it, let's try it, and just to agree with you to get that golden ticket, which is your listing, and not actually telling you what you need to hear, just telling you what you want to hear. So if you're thinking about relocating, selling your home in and around a DFW metroplex, then comment below, grab one of those one-on-one consultation links. I want to be able to visit with you so we can better realize what do you need to do to actually get your home sold and get you moved to your next place where you're going to create your new memories and call home.